If you think you need £1 million to retire, you've been lied to. Seriously. The financial industry, pension companies, even the news, they all want you to believe that retiring early is some impossible dream. They'll tell you you're broke, you're behind, and you'll be working until your 70s unless you win the lottery. But here's the truth. Retirement, or at least financial freedom, is much closer than you think. Most people could walk away from their 9 to 5 years earlier than they ever imagined if they just stopped focusing on the wrong number. In this video, I'll show you how to work out your real freedom number, why you probably need far less than you think, and how ordinary people, not bankers, not trust fund kids, are escaping the rat race every single day. The big myth why £1 million is a trap. Let's start with the most toxic lie in personal finance. You need £1 million to retire. That number gets thrown around for fun, but it's complete rubbish, because retirement or financial freedom isn't about how big your pot is, it's about how much income your pot can safely generate without running out. And the gap between those two figures, that's the reason most people never even start. Here's the brutal reality. If you're aiming for £1 million because some bloke on the internet told you to, you're probably overshooting by hundreds of thousands of pounds. And in the process, you're delaying your freedom by decades. Let me prove it. Most people think, okay, so if I want 20,000 a year in retirement and I can get like 8% returns, I'll just divide 20,000 by 0.08. Boom, 250k and I'm done. That might be wrong. It might be fantasy land, because markets don't give you smooth, predictable returns. One year you're up 10%, the next year you're down like 15%. And if those bad years hit early while you're drawing income, you could blow through your savings, even if the average return looks okay. That risk, called sequence risk, is why many retirees run out of money even though the maths should have worked. By the way, if you are serious about retiring early, hit subscribe so we can build wealth together. The real freedom number, how to calculate it. So, how do we fix it? We can use something called the 4% rule, one of the most important financial principles you'll ever learn. Not for everyone, but I like it for the simplicity and feel it helps you really think about retirement. It's simple. Decades of market data show that if you withdraw about 4% of your portfolio per year, adjusted for inflation, your money will likely last 30 plus years. So if you want 20,000 a year in retirement income, you don't need £1 million, you need 500,000. That's it, £500,000. Still a lot, but half of what most people think. But here's where things get interesting. Depending on your age, you're going to get a little bonus to that income in retirement. Let's talk about the state pension. Right now, if you qualify for the full state pension and retire at 67, you're looking at around 11,500 per year, guaranteed, inflation linked for life. So if your total goal is 20,000 a year, the pension covers more than half. That means you only need to generate about 8,500 per year from your investments. At a 4% withdrawal rate, that's a portfolio of around 212 grand. Not £1 million, not 500,000, about 200 grand. Suddenly, financial freedom isn't a fantasy. It's a target you can actually hit. Now, you might be okay with this amount in retirement. You might want more, much more. This is just to show you a little example to get you thinking about retirement. As always, nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice, and the full disclaimer can be found below in the description. How to retire early. Now, maybe you're thinking, yes, but I don't want to wait until 67 to escape my job. Fair point. If you want out earlier, like 55, you'll need a bigger pot to bridge those extra 12 years before the state pension kicks in. That might mean around 540k to 600k to maintain the same 20k lifestyle. But here's the thing, even that is achievable for ordinary people. If you're 35 now, invest in a global index fund averaging about 7-8% a year and save about 400 to 450 a month, you'll hit that number by 67. Double it to 800 to 900 a month and you could walk away a whole 12 years earlier. That's not fantasy, it's maths. And remember, your spending in retirement isn't static. Most people spend more in their 60s with travel, hobbies, home upgrades, less in their 70s, and sometimes a bit more again later for care. Planning for that curve instead of assuming you'll spend the same forever can shrink that number even further. 4 steps to escape the rat race early. Here's the part most people never do, running their own numbers. So let's make it simple. Here's a little 4-step process to work out your freedom number, the one that actually matters. Step 1, define your lifestyle. How much do you actually need? 20k a year equals basic but comfortable. 40k a year, solid, no stress lifestyle. 50k, luxury, travel, etc, etc. Step 2, subtract the state pension. Use gov.uk to estimate it. Most people will get 11 to 12,000 a year. Take that off your target. Step 3, apply the 4% rule. Divide what's left by 0.04. That's roughly the portfolio you need. Step 4, adjust for early retirement. If you plan to stop working before 67, add about 10 to 12 years of expenses to cover the gap. Once you've done that, you'll know the number that really matters, not the one everyone talks about on social media. And then it's just execution. Here are 5 things you can do to accelerate the journey. 1, max out your pension. You get up to 45% tax relief. It's free money. 2, use your ISA allowance. Growth and withdrawals are tax-free. 3, increase savings annually. Boost contributions by 3 to 5% a year. 4, invest globally. Diversify across markets for long-term growth. 5, automate and stay the course. The worst enemy of your plan is emotional investing. Do that for 10, 15, 20 years and the odds are you'll hit your freedom number without ever feeling rich, and much earlier than you think. The wake-up call. Small actions, big freedom. Here's the reality. If you're in your 20s, 30s, even your early 40s, it's not too late. But obviously the earlier you start, the better. Let's say you are 30 and have a target retirement age of 55. That gives you 25 years. If you invested £500 a month, every month, and managed to get average returns of 10%, not guaranteed of course, but this is based on over 100 years of historical data. If you've done this every month for 25 years, you would end up with £663,000. And I feel this would mean early retirement for most people. The problem isn't that the goal is too big, it's that most people never sit down and calculate it. They just accept the narrative that they're too far behind and give up. And that's exactly what the system wants you to do. Keep working, keep consuming, keep handing over your time. But once you know your real number and you commit to hitting it, the game changes. You stop chasing status, you stop fearing the future, and you start buying back the most valuable thing you'll ever own, your time. My genuine belief is that financial education leads to financial literacy, and financial literacy leads to financial freedom. Summary. Look, the rat race is optional in my humble opinion. You don't need 7 figures. You don't need a lottery win. And you definitely don't need to be chained to a desk until you're like 70, even later. All you need is a plan, some discipline, and a number that's grounded in reality, not hype. Because the truth is, most people could escape the 9 to 5 a decade earlier than they think if they stop believing the lies and started building their freedom number today. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, today, grab a notebook, run the 4 steps and work out your number. Once you see how achievable it is, you'll never look at your job the same way again. I really hope you take on board what I'm saying, because I'm sick of seeing people struggling in retirement, people I care about. Let's say you do want to retire early, but you're still not quite sure what to invest into or how to invest. Well, if you see below, you'll find my latest playlist, which is the 5-step plan to retire early. Basically, 5 10-minute videos to help you with investing step by step. Thanks for watching.